Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of A Child's Life. A Child's Life is brought to you by Learn and Lead Educational Center. I'm your host, Yolande Robinson. Now, I'm sure many of you with children in primary school are very aware of weekly spelling tests. For many children, this is a chance to learn how to correctly spell new words and get a nice big sticker on their paper at the end of the week. For other children, this is a way to be extremely frustrated and get a paper full of red marks, and at the end of the week, have a question on their paper that says, "Did you study?" Although as a teacher, I'm guilty in the past of writing that "did you study" phrase on a spelling test. I am very aware that some of my students will study those words every night, but still will have a challenge getting 15 on 15. So for this week's episode of A Child's Life, we're going to look at how you can help your child study. Many students are studying their spelling words, but are not studying them effectively. When this happens, 3 problems are likely to occur. Number 1, they do not do well on their spelling test. Number 2, they're unable to actually use the words in context and may continue to spell poorly in everyday writing. And number 3, their morale may be affected, and you might start to hear statements like, "Ugh, I don't like to spell. I'm no good at spelling. I hate spelling." Students are often given a week or so to study their spelling words. So, how can you begin? Start by taking a look at the words with them. Let's say your child is in grade 3 or 4 and gets approximately 20 words. Begin by giving them a pretest. Explain to your child that this is a no-stress test, just to see how many of the words that they already know how to spell. This will serve as a quick way to see how much work you have planned for the week ahead of you. Once you've corrected this pretest, it is time to group the words. A natural grouping of 20 words may be in groups of 4 or 5, 4 groups of 5 maybe. However, you're going to decide how to best group them. Start with the words that your child knows best. Although some of you may think, "Oh no, I need to start with the harder words, tackle them first." Sometimes what happens is we start with the harder ones and we spend so much time that the known words are not tackled well enough and end up having silly mistakes on the test. So let's imagine that your child on their pretest was able to spell 8 words correctly. You may decide to group all 8 of those words together and make the other groups of 4. So for a few days, have your child study one group daily. Remember that studying 4 to 5 groups of the new words or unknown words is a lot more manageable than the entire list. You can gauge your child and decide whether you will review the previous day's words nightly or save them for a final day of review. So now that you know how to cut your child's spelling words down into manageable chunks, how do you actually help them learn these chunks? There's a variety of ways to do so, and you will need to use trial and error to see what works best for your child. It also doesn't hurt to know whether your child is an auditory, tactile, or visual learner. There are sites on the internet that can tell you more about these types of learning styles and provide you with tips on how to reach each type of learner. But I'm going to give you a brief overview to help you with the context of spelling and helping your child with spelling. An auditory learner learns best by hearing. Therefore, having a child maybe record and replay their words, their spelling words, for example, saying apple, APPLE, can be quite helpful. This is also a way to encourage them to study aloud. They may also react well giving the words giving the words maybe a rhythm or a beat, especially if they excel as tactile learners as well. So a tactile learner is one that learns by touching. For this type of learner, they may well enjoy activities such as having a tray of rice or sand for them to spell the words in, or maybe copying the words several times in different colors. They may also enjoy physical activities as a way of learning their words, such as using a skipping rope or jumping or clapping their words. With each jump or clap, a new letter should be said. And then we have visual learners. So visual learners are the ones that learn best through their sight. Therefore, having the spelling groups posted in their room or around the house so that they can have them as a visual aid when studying, or just to view as passing, can be worthwhile. Despite the learning style that your child excels in, there are a few activities that you may want to try anyways. Take a blank piece of paper and fold it into 3 columns, as if you're folding a letter to put into an envelope. Once you've done that, at the top of each column, write the titles: trace, copy, and then recall. In the trace column, write the word for your child that your child is learning that day. Have them trace the word while saying it aloud, and then copy the word in the next column. Then have your child fold the paper so that they cannot see, and in the recall column, let them write the word. They should then write the word from memory. Once this has been done, they should open their paper back and move on to the next word on the paper. Depending on the words and the level of the child, you may want to incorporate the breaking up of words into syllables in this exercise. So many students manage to learn their spelling words in isolation, but have difficulty when it comes to using them in context. So to reduce or eliminate this problem, another spelling activity should be to have your child write each word in a phrase or sentence. In the case of the word apple, a phrase could be, "The red apple." A sentence could be, "The red apple tastes good." The important thing is that the sentence should still be at your child's level and should not be a stressful activity. So for example, if taste isn't a part of their vocabulary yet, the sentence may just be, "The red apple is good." And I mean their written vocabulary. So this is an activity to get your child used to writing the word in context and recognizing how it looks and even sounds in a sentence. Additionally, a quick internet search also yields spelling tools that can help make spelling more enjoyable at home. Puzzle makers can be found where parents can input their child's spelling words and get printable or online activities. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of A Child's Life. A Child's Life is brought to you by Learn and Lead Educational Center. I'm your host, Yolande Robinson, and I can be reached at connect@yolanderobinson.com. Have a great week.